Do you ever feel a quiet exhaustion settle in? Not from a long day's work, but from something deeper, something harder to name. A weariness that seems to seep into your bones after countless conversations that go nowhere, after endless attempts to bridge the gap between your inner world and the one outside. It's a subtle, creeping sense of disorientation, a feeling that you're moving through a world of strangers, even when surrounded by familiar faces. You find yourself retreating into silence, not out of anger, but out of a profound and settled tiredness. The kind of tiredness that comes from realizing a simple, unadorned truth. No one is really listening, not in the way you need them to. You begin to understand that the expectation of being understood is a heavy weight, one you've been carrying for a very long time without even realizing it. And perhaps, just perhaps, it's time to set it down. You begin to notice it everywhere, in the brief pauses during a phone call, in the slight, almost imperceptible shift in someone's eyes as you speak. You learn that seeking understanding is a luxury most cannot afford, not for you, and not even for themselves. People are caught in the powerful currents of their own lives, each person a solitary swimmer battling their own private storm. They are grappling with their own deadlines, their own heartaches, their own quiet anxieties that keep them awake in the dead of night. Their minds are cluttered with 1,000 urgent thoughts, a cacophony of responsibilities and regrets that leave little room for the intricate details of another's existence. They might listen to you, yes. They offer you a moment of their time, a portion of their attention, a gesture of kindness. But you can feel the limit, the invisible boundary of their tolerance. Their focus is a finite resource, and you can sense precisely when it begins to wane, when their thoughts drift back to their own unending list of worries. They will nod, their expressions a mask of empathy. They might even offer words that sound like understanding, but what they are really doing is filtering your experience through the lens of their own. They understand you in a way that is convenient for them, fitting your complex reality into a simple, recognizable shape that doesn't demand too much of them. And in the relentless rush of modern life, you come to accept that this fragmented, self-serving form of empathy is often the best anyone can offer. That shallow reflection, that fleeting moment of connection, has to be enough, because everyone is just trying to stay afloat. There was a time when you tried, you really tried. You believed that if you could just find the right words, the perfect sequence of sentences, you could make them see. You tried to explain the crushing weight of exhaustion that wasn't just physical, but existential. You tried to articulate the logic behind a life choice that seemed, to everyone else, utterly illogical and self-destructive. You painstakingly laid out the reasons why your path diverged so sharply from the well-trodden road, why their definition of success felt like a cage to you. You tried to explain the quiet rebellion in your heart, the need to live a life that felt true, even if it looked like failure from the outside. But with every word you spoke, a strange thing happened. The more you explained, the more you justified, the smaller and more insignificant you felt. It was a slow, painful shrinking. You weren't being proven wrong. Your reasons were valid. Your feelings were real. The problem was that you were delivering a detailed, intricate monologue to an empty theater. No one had asked for the script. No one truly needed the explanation. Your long, impassioned speeches were met with polite smiles, with vacant stares, with a quick change of subject. They weren't dismissing you to be cruel. They were simply indifferent. Your internal world, so vast and tumultuous to you, was just a fleeting, incomprehensible footnote in theirs. The effort of translating your soul became a burden, and the silence that followed felt heavier than the misunderstanding you were trying to fix. You were left alone on the stage, the echo of your own voice the only applause. And then a stark clarity begins to dawn. No one else lies awake with you, staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, their heart pounding with the rhythm of your specific personal fears. No one else feels the sharp, physical pang of regret for your past decisions, the ghosts of your choices that haunt only your hallways. When the consequences of your actions arrive, as they always do, no one else stands beside you to bear the brunt of the impact. It is your name on the bill, your future on the line, your world that might crumble. They may offer condolences, they may express sympathy, but they will go home at the end of the day and sleep in their own beds, untroubled by the fallout of your life. They do not pay the price for your convictions, nor do they reap the rewards of your sacrifices. Their advice, their opinions, their judgments, they are all offered from a safe distance, from the cheap seats. They are spectators, not players in your arena. They are not the ones who will have to live with the aftermath of a choice made to please them. They are not the ones whose spirit will wither under the weight of a life that is not their own. So why? Why should you grant them the power to understand? Why should you contort your life to fit their narrow expectations? The expectation that they should fully comprehend the path you walk is not just unrealistic, it's an injustice to your own journey. Your life is a story written in a language only you can truly decipher. To demand that they become fluent is to ask for the impossible. The moment you let go, the moment you truly and completely abandon the hope of being understood by others, something remarkable happens. You can breathe again. It's a different kind of breath, not the shallow gasp for air you took between attempts to justify your existence, but a deep, slow, and liberating inhalation. The immense pressure to perform, to present a version of yourself that is palatable and easy to digest, simply evaporates. The exhausting, endless quest for external approval, for a nod from the crowd, for a round of applause, comes to a quiet and unceremonious end. You no longer feel the compulsive need to build a case for your life, to present evidence and call witnesses in your own defense. You are released from the crippling need for their sympathy. You stop seeing your struggles as something to be validated by an outside observer. They are simply part of your path. A quiet confidence begins to root, one that is not dependent on praise or external reinforcement. It's a simple, solid knowing. You know what you are doing. You know why you are doing it. You know the price you are willing to pay. And this internal clarity becomes your compass, your anchor, your unwavering guide. The noise of the world's opinions fades into a distant, irrelevant hum. You are left with the profound and peaceful silence of your own conviction. Perhaps this is what maturity feels like. It's not a grand arrival or a triumphant victory. It is a quiet, sober acceptance of a fundamental truth. There are certain paths you are destined to walk entirely alone. There will be stretches of the journey with no one beside you, no cheers from the sidelines, no comforting hand on your shoulder. You will walk on without the validation of understanding, without the fuel of encouragement, and without the need to offer a single word of defense for who you are. The world may look at you and see a mystery, a failure, or a fool, and it will not matter, because in that solitude, in that profound and chilling isolation, you find an unexpected and formidable kind of freedom. You are no longer tethered to the ever-shifting gaze of others. You are no longer a puppet dancing to the tune of their expectations. The cold of that freedom is sharp, but it is also pure. It is the freedom to be utterly, uncompromisingly yourself. It is the freedom to live a life that makes sense to you, and to you alone. Don't expect anyone to understand you. Just don't betray yourself. That is enough.